let's have a little talk about one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time, and that's the Autopsy of Jane Doe. I forgot the name of it there for a minute. I guess it was so good it blew my mind. But really, it, it is honestly one of the best things I've seen in a very long time. Um, you've got movies coming out recently, like The Bye Bye Man. And I mean, The Bye Bye Man is based off of a book, The President's Vampire, which I've not read and don't intend to. And you've got Rings coming out, which the first Ring was, I thought, a great movie. I mean, it scared me when I was younger. But this new Rings movie is going to be horrible. The Bye Bye Man, I mean, it's going to be your generic horror film, PG-13 horror film. Some main characters, his name's going to be like Chad Taylor or something like that. And, it's just going to be a mess. With this, it really goes back to the roots of, I mean, I don't know, it's like, it really goes back to the roots of a good suspenseful film. Something that you wouldn't really see in the 80s, because a lot of the 80s horror films were very gory, very Cronenberg, like The Fly and John Carpenter's The Thing. Lot of body horror going on, but this movie takes things to another level. With each, let me describe the plot first. Emil Hirsch and Brian Cox are a father and son mortician duo, and they've got a couple of corpses they've done that night. Well, a sheriff brings in brings in a body. It's a Jane Doe, hence the name of the movie, and they are trying to figure out what's going on. They're trying, like, the sheriff can't figure it out himself by looking at it, because she looks like a very composed corpse. She's not injured in any fashion. Her her eyes are milked over, almost looks like cataracts. And she's at the bottom of a house buried under the house. Now, Emil Hirsch and Brian Cox, they get the body and they start performing their autopsy. And when they do, things start going crazy. It's a very confusing movie. Usually I can watch a movie and kind of have an idea of what's happening, even if there's a twist at the end of the movie. I can kind of pinpoint it out. Movies are very predictable, and even when they try not to be, I've seen enough to know what's going to happen. But this movie, it was like an episode of Lost. There was like 14 questions brought up within the first 10 minutes of the autopsy. There's a lot going on, and your mind can't wrap around what's going on. What's the cause of her death? Why is she not decomposed without, rigor mortis? She's completely limber. She's not rigid. Answers or questions like that pop up. A lot of attention to detail. They don't go too scientific with it. I thought that would. I mean, if they did, that would have been fantastic. But it's okay that they didn't, because the story itself is it's ridiculous how well it was portrayed by Emil and Brian. Like they did a great job. And it's not a jump scare movie, thank God. It's kind of a creeper film. It's very you want to look behind your back, is the best way to describe it. It's not going to be right in your face. There may be, I don't even think there might be but one subtle jump scare in it that wasn't even meant to be a jump scare, I don't believe. I think it was just to, kind of show you something's happening and you're gonna see it eventually. But I definitely, if you like a good mystery and a good horror film, watch this. It's a really good movie.